Should I start with an introduction of yourself first? Good evening, brothers, sisters in the Dhamma. First, I would like to give our warmest welcome to Ajahn Martin Piyadhammo, to this Mahindrama Temple here in Penang Malaysia. A short introduction on Ajahn Martin Piyadhammo. He has lived as a Buddhist forest monk in the jungles of Thailand for many years. Before I continue this introduction, can you please kindly turn off your handphone, switch it to silent mode, please, so not to interrupt the session. Okay, thank you. As I was saying, Ajahn Martin Piyadhammo was born in Stuttgart in 1957 and studied electrical and computer engineering in Germany and the USA. So at the end of the 1980s, he discovered meditation. And he lived in monasteries and meditation centers in England and Germany for 4 years. In 1995, he went to live with the famous Thai meditation teacher, Longtua Mahawa, I think you've heard of him, in Penang Forest Monastery, near Udon Thani in Thailand. And he was ordained as a Buddhist monk in December 1995. And he has lived there ever since, going on Tudong. Tudong means journeying alone in solitude through the forest. For a few months each year, and meditating about 40 hours every day. Currently, he is the chief meditation master of Wat Phu Kong Tong, teaching Dhamma and meditation to many people and monks, both from overseas and also Thailand. And also, without any delay, I see that also you are quite eager to listen to Dhamma talk tonight. So I will invite Ajahn to start the talk now. Ajahn Martin Piyadhammo.
So the question we should ask ourselves, what are we doing here on this planet? Why are we born? What is the purpose of our life? If you have asked yourself, why are you born? Why are you in this body? What are you going to do when you die? Is there any sense in this? Is there any meaning to life? I mean, it's a question you should ask yourself, especially if you're interested in Buddhism. Buddhism teaches, samsara. Being born, die. Being born again, die. You can call samsara also the hamster wheel. Have you ever looked at a hamster in a hamster wheel? Yeah? He's going. When you look from outside, he's going nowhere. That's us in samsara. You're going from one plane existence to the next plane of existence, but not going out. So the purpose of our life, what is it? Is it there just to dilly-dally around? To waste the time? To kill the time and to be dead? And then be born again? Just asking interesting questions. We are born to die. That's for sure, 100%. But the important thing, the important question we should ask ourselves, what we are going to do with the time that we have? Are we using it to make money, to build houses, to build a family, all the material things that we can't take with us? Is that the purpose of our life? If we are interested in Buddhism, if we come to monasteries, then we should ask ourselves about the spiritual thing, about the citta, about that what goes from one life to the next, not the body that goes and dies, that is born and dies. Always people coming late. So what are we doing here? Ask yourself, it's a valid question. Are you doing something that is purposeful? Consider the example, of being born in a car, and all what you do is take care of the car, but never take care of the driver. Until the car needs to go to the scrapyard, and then you look for another car, if you have the money to. The important thing is to take care of the driver, that he doesn't wreck the car so easily. And taking care of the driver is taking care of the citta. In the citta, everything, in the heart, everything is there. All the greed, all the hatred, all the delusion. Our desires are there. So we have to take care of that it doesn't lead us to the lower realms. Every one of you should know the 5 precepts. The Lord Buddha said if you keep these 5 precepts, you have the permission to come back as a human being. If you don't keep them, where do you go? You go either to the animal realm, to the ghost realm, to the demon realm, or to the hell realm. And when the Lord Buddha was asked how many people are going to the hell realm and how many people are going to the heaven, he pointed out, do you see that bull over there? How many hairs does he have on his fur? These are the people who go to hell. How many horns does he have? These are the people who go to heaven, Nonibhava. Jesus didn't say it so explicitly, but he said it also, the masses are going through the broad door that leads to destruction. Only few are going the stony path that leads to the heaven. It's not so dissimilar. Some of you might be Christians or might be Christian background, so you should know that. As you might have noticed already, I'm not there, to make you comfortable. I'm there, to show you, of the dangers of life, of the dangers of our existence. Then that is not easy to take, understand? But I have no interest, I'm telling you, be good people, make donations, and then you will end up in heaven. Because that's not the truth. The truth is, if you don't keep the 5 precepts, and I just shortly repeat it, not harming any living being is the first one, not taking what is not given is the second one, no sexual misconduct, that means being faithful in one's marriage or in one's partnership, or having sex with juveniles, that is, or sex with people who are dependent on us. That's all sexual misconduct. Then no lies, no harsh speech, yeah? And no deceptive speech. No alcohol, no drugs. Yeah? Everything that makes us unmindful. These are the 5 precepts. If we keep these 5 precepts, we can come back as a human being. Yeah? If we're not, we go down for a while. Yeah? Everybody knows, everybody lives in a country where there are certain laws. Yeah? If you kill, you go to prison. Yeah? If you steal, you go to prison. If you do this, yeah. In Germany 100 years ago, if you were unfaithful in your marriage, you went to prison. It's unimaginable nowadays, isn't it? Yeah. So, but we got rid of all these things, yeah. So if we keep the 5 precepts, we come back as human beings, yeah. At least as human beings. We can go up to the heavens, but we need a little bit more. Yeah? The Lord Buddha taught everything. He taught us, it is very clear, his teaching. He taught us the way, back to the human realm. He taught us the way to the heavenly realm. He taught us the law of Kamma. People coming in, people coming out, not knowing the time. He taught us the law of Kamma, and he taught us the way out of the hamster wheel, or samsara, or you can call it the roller coaster of life. Going up, going down, going up, going down again. If you think that is so much fun, at least try to be on the safe side, that you don't fall down. That means from nowadays, from today on, you just keep the 5 precepts. If you don't want it. I don't assume that people like to go to hell. Yeah? We all know what hell is like. Yeah? That's why we are afraid of. That's why we are scared of. Because we all have been there. We all know what heaven is like, because most of us have been there. So that's why we like to go to heaven, yeah? And we don't like to go to hell. Because our chitta does remember all the times, yeah? And it's not only one time that I've been there, yeah? Been quite a lot of times and very long times. Yeah? At least that's true for me, yeah? And for most of the people. So keep the 5 precepts. That is a prerequisite for everything. It's a prerequisite to come back as a human being. It's a prerequisite, to go up to heaven. And it's a prerequisite to go out of the samsara. To find the way out of samsara. The first noble truth that the Lord Buddha teaches is dukkha. What is dukkha? Yeah. Normally when you find the translation of dukkha, in English it's mostly called suffering, but that's not dukkha. Yeah. Dukkha is restlessness. Yeah. It's boredom. It's dis-ease, discontent, painful feelings. And of course, pain and suffering. That's all dukkha. When you look at a day, how much dukkha do you have? When you're hungry, it's dukkha. When you're thirsty, it's dukkha. When you're sleepy, it's dukkha. You can't open your eyes, you feel terrible. It's dukkha, so you go to sleep, and after a good night's sleep, you feel rested again. So the dukkha is gone. When we feel hungry, we eat something, and then we feel fine again. So the dukkha is gone. People don't consider this, this body, to heaving it around, to carrying it around all the time. They don't consider this dukkha. And that means we don't really understand the first noble truth. The first noble truth is there is Dukkha. All beings in all realms, yeah? Not only the human realm, but also the heavenly realm. And they don't have this mass of body, yeah? Have Dukkha. So when we look at it one day, we see a lot of Dukkha. We see a lot of discomfort. We see a lot of disease. Yeah? And what are we doing? We're taking care of the Dukkha all day long. Yeah? We're putting the body to sleep. We house the body. Yeah? We feed the body. And we relieve the body. When you look at your life, from the day you're born to the day you die, you get up, you eat something, you do something, you eat something, and you go to sleep. The next day, you get up, you eat something, you do something, you eat again, do something again, and go to sleep. That's our life. But because we have so many different names for doing something, that's why we think there's so much fun in it. But where's the fun, yeah? I'm asking you, consider it for yourself. I'm not giving you the answer. Every one of you has to find the answer. Yeah? What is so much fun about this life? Yeah? I mean, we have to take 90%, 95% of our time to work for this body, to keep it healthy. And in the end, yeah, it dies under our hands. Even if we take the best care of it, it dies. Yeah? I mean, so we waste all this time, all this effort, putting in the body. Yeah? And especially when you look now at the Westerners, what they do, they keep it healthy, they cycle, they do sports and so on. Yeah? But still, this body dies. Yeah? And it dies not because we don't do sport or do sport, we don't take medicine or we do medicine. We die because of our karmic consequences of the past. The Lord Buddha said it very clearly. I mean, the moment we are born, our death is already programmed into this body. And there's nothing that we can do. I mean, we can exercise it as much as we can. We can keep it healthy as much as we can. We still die at that day. Because, the Kamma determines how long we are going to live. He said it very clearly. The one who takes lives, has a short life, no matter what he does. The one who doesn't take lives, will have a long life. But that refers to the previous birth. It doesn't refer to this birth. So if somebody has never taken life, in this life, he decides to become an assassin or a murderer or a soldier and kills lots of people, he still will have a long life, but the next life will be very short. Yeah? And he probably, first goes to hell. Yeah? So whatever we have done in the past determines our current life. Yeah? Every farmer does know that. Yeah? He plants rice today, and he has to wait 6 months, until he can harvest it, before he can eat it. Yeah? And in the West we know, whatever we plant in this year, that is for the next year to eat. Yeah? So whatever we plant in this life, that is for our next life. That means, we should take care of our body, because otherwise, we have lots of problems in the next life. Yeah? That's of course, understood. Yeah? But we shouldn't overdo it. Yeah? And we shouldn't think that it will have an effect on this life. Yeah? Because our life is already pretty much determined from our karmic consequences of the past. And that is what a lot of people don't seem to understand. We have that saying in English, or probably in every language. Don't do unto others what you don't want others to do unto you. Yeah? Everybody probably knows this. Yeah? But we are not familiar with the second part. There's a second part of the saying, because whatever is done unto us is what we have done unto others. So whatever happens to us in this life is what we have done unto others in previous lives. And that should give us, a good opportunity to accept the things. Yeah? It is not the government, it is not our wife or our husband, it's not the family, it's not our boss, it's our own doing. We can only receive what we sow. Yeah? Jesus said it as well. What you sow is what you reap. Yeah? And there's nothing free. If people think there's something free in this world, there's nothing. If you want to get rich, we have to work very hard for it. Yeah? The Lord Buddha gives, if you are very generous, yeah, in this life or in the previous life, in the next life you will get rich. Yeah? If you serve others, yeah, you don't think about yourself, you will get beautiful. Yeah? Things like that, it's all in the suttas. Yeah? You can look it up if you want to. Yeah? So, it is very easy, to see, that we have to work for the things that we want, just like in this life. Yeah? If you want a car, you have to earn some money and save some money before you can buy the car. Yeah? You don't get it for free, nobody gives it for free. Yeah? Unless you have the merit or the good karma, from previous life, that your uncle dies and leaves you a lot of money. Huh? But that is good merit. You don't have to play in the lottery to get this money, yeah? To get the merit. Some people, today they donate something to the monastery and tomorrow they play the lottery. Yeah? That's completely useless. Yeah? You don't get anything. Remember this well. Yeah? Every farmer, yeah, knows it. What you sow today is what you reap tomorrow. Yeah? And what we sow in this life, yeah, pretty much in this life. There are exceptions. Some things can come earlier, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Yeah? But most of it is done in the next year, next life. Yeah? Keep this in mind. Yeah. What you're doing right now is preparing. Yeah, is preparing your next life. Yeah. So live well if you want to live a very good life next life. Yeah. But whatever happens in this life, is determined whatever you have done in the previous lives. Is that understood, huh? I don't think it is a very nice. It is very nice for us to accept it. It is very difficult for us to accept it because we think we can change. The only thing we can change is our attitude towards this. When bad karma comes, say, okay, hello, it's not nice, but I've done it, yeah. So I have to, yeah. Like in German we say, you have to eat the soup that you cooked, yeah. You don't get any other soup, yeah. Only the soup that you cooked yourself. Yeah? So you have to accept it. Yeah? And that is a way how we can deal with this life very easily, much better than if we try to blame anybody else, for our misfortune. Yeah? It's interesting that we only blame people for our misfortune, yeah? But never for our fortune. Yeah? People in Christianity, they always run to the church, pray on the altar, please Lord, take this misfortune away from me. But when they win in the lottery, nobody runs into the church and please take this fortune away from me. Because fortune is ours, and misfortune is not ours. Yeah? That is a very strange idea that we have. Yeah? No, everything, both. Yeah? Kamma is the thing, that is difficult to understand, yeah? But you can say P down, yeah? You can pretty much say, whatever you do is what you get back, yeah? But for the Kamma, the intention of doing something, yeah? If you want to do something good, yeah? If your intention is to do something good and turns out bad, the Kamma is still good. Yeah? If your intention is wrong, it turns out good, the Kamma is bad. Yeah? So don't do things, that you don't want to have bad. Yeah? If you understand this, we can start to live an easy life. Yeah? We just do unto others, what we want to get back. Wouldn't that be easy? Yeah, it would be easy, if there wouldn't be our greed and our hatred, yeah, that constantly interferes with our intentions. Yeah? We don't like the situation, we don't like the world as it is, yeah? Accept it as it is. Yeah, you can't change it. As I said before, we can only change ourselves. And we can change our attitude towards it. We cannot control the environment, but we can control our attitude towards the environment. And we can try to live, a harmonious life. Yeah? And if other people don't agree with it, that's their problem. Yeah? If they try to interfere with us, it's their problem. Yeah? We just do what we think is proper, or we just do the things that we want to get back. So what is interfering? Interfering is normally our desire, and that is the second noble truth. Yeah? The second noble truth that causes all our dukkha is the desire to become, the desire to be, the desire not to be, and the desire not to become, or the desire not to have things, or the desire not to have things. To meet with the things that we don't like is dukkha. To be parted from the things that we like is dukkha. To not become, not to get what we want is dukkha. Yeah? All these things lead to dukkha, and our daily life is full of dukkha. Just have a closer look again. When you're hungry, how do you feel? You feel comfortable? When you're tired, how do you feel? You feel comfortable? Yeah? No, it's dukkha. It's not the biggest dukkha, but it's dukkha. It's a dukkha of the body. And it makes us to go, to go eat something, or to cook something, or to go shopping to cook something to eat. Yeah? How much time, just have a look, how much time are you spending per day for feeding this body? Huh? And if you don't cook for yourself but go in a restaurant, how much time do you spend to make money? To be able to afford to go to the restaurants. Yeah? And when you look at the whole life, how much time are you spending for keeping up this body? Yeah? And in the end, it will die. No matter what you do. It is born to die. Yeah? There's no way around. Yeah? No matter what you do, it will die at its appropriate time. The third noble truth is a very simple statement. There's an end of dukkha. And the fourth noble truth is the path that leads to the end of dukkha. Or the path, yeah, you can say it is the way out of the hamster wheel, yeah, that we are in. Yeah. Or samsara, no matter what you call, what is more pictorial to you, if you see in a hamster wheel constantly running around, that doesn't look very interesting. Yeah? If you want to take a roller coaster that goes up and down, has no start and no end, maybe that's more interesting. But the path out, yeah, the way out that the Lord Buddha taught, because he saw, he saw, why are people born? Why do they have to die? That was his question. Yeah? Why do they get old? Yeah? Why do they get sick? What is the reason for it? Is there a way out? Yeah? And he strained himself a lot, to get to find the way out. And in the end, he found it. Yeah? And he found a truth that is unimaginable to explain. So he didn't even want to teach. Yeah? Until one of the gods came down and asked him to teach. And then he thought, if I could go the path, maybe others can go the path. So he didn't teach about Nibbana, about the other reality. He taught just about the path that leads to this reality. And that path that leads to this reality is Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Sila, are the 5 precepts, as I explained before. Yeah? Keeping the 5 precepts. Samadhi is the ability to concentrate. Yeah? And to develop sati. I mean, sati often is translated as mindfulness, but it's actually quite the opposite. Our mind can be full of one thing, but is not aware of other things. Sati is awareness. Being aware of whatever goes into the mind or is happening in the citta. And actually, when you really develop sati, yeah, you know it is actually mind emptiness. The mind is completely empty of any preoccupations. Yeah? When the mind concentrates on one thing, it is full of this one preoccupation. But sati is just the opposite. It's the emptiness that knows what goes into the mind and what goes out of the mind. So, and that is to be developed through the practice of samadhi. How do we develop samadhi? I mean, we sit down, yeah? I mean, we can do it while sitting or while walking, yeah? I mean, when we sit down, we close the eyes, yeah? We sit comfortable, probably cross-legged, half lotus or full lotus, yeah? Whatever is comfortable to you, yeah? You close the eyes, sit comfortable, and then concentrate either on anapanasati, yeah? Being aware of the breath at the tip of the nose, yeah? Or mentally repeat the word Buddha. You know, for people who think a lot, Buddha is probably the easier thing. Yeah? You just repeat Buddha until the mind goes out, then you bring it back to Buddha. Yeah? It's the same thing, you know. I mean, you observe the breath at the tip of the nose, yeah, and until you know the mind goes out, the citta goes out, and then you bring it back. Yeah? And that is difficult. Yeah? I mean, if you try it for 5 minutes, you will find yourself, I mean, after half a second, it is gone. It's in this thought, it's in this memory. Yeah? But that is how we train it. Yeah? That's how we train concentration. Yeah? Through concentration comes power, comes energy. Yeah? But then, you know, I mean, the second part of it, yeah, once we can stay put at the tip of the nose and observe the breath, then we observe the quality of the breath. We know if it is low, we know if it is fast, we know if it is rough, we know if it is subtle, we know if it is long, or we know it is short. This knowingness is important. Yeah? This knowingness is that what we actually want to achieve. Yeah? But in order to achieve it, we need to be able to concentrate or focus on one point. Yeah? If we can't focus on one point, we don't know where the mind is. Yeah? The mind constantly wanders around. Some people teach, you know, following the breath, but that is not, yeah. I mean, then you move, yeah. If you move, you don't know where the mind is, yeah. It can easily go out, yeah. No, you stay put, you know. When the Lord Buddha taught anapanasati, it was always the tip of the nose, yeah. Not going in, not following the breath in, not following the breath out. If you take the Buddha, you know, just mentally repeat the word Buddha. And then you do the same thing. Once the Buddha automatically is repeated, yeah, then you observe. You know, is the Buddha fast? Is the Buddha slow? Is the Buddha deep? Is the Buddha shallow? Yeah? And then sooner or later, yeah, I mean, for most people, probably later, after weeks or after months of training, yeah, I mean, there are two, at the beginning, the sati, you know, the sati and the concentration seems to be glued together. But then one thing, the sati falls back to where it comes from. It comes from the knowingness of the heart. So the sati drops back, but our point of concentration is still at the tip of the nose. Yeah? And then we don't feel the breath anymore, but we know the breath. And that knowing is much clearer than the feeling of the breath. And don't get confused when the breath disappears. Yeah? Because the breath does not disappear. Our interest in the breath disappears. So it's not a good sign if the breath disappears. Yeah? It's actually a bad sign. We lost our concentration, or we thought it was boring or repetitious, you know, and that's why we lost the interest in our breath. Yeah? Now, I mean, the breath becomes clearer and clearer if we have interest in the breath. 100% interest is 100% concentration. And some of you might know it, if you have a hobby where you can easily get completely into it, you forget your surroundings. Yeah? So that is just interest in your object or interest in your hobby. But now when we take this interest, what disappears, for the breath, people who do the breath meditation, the body starts to disappear. Until the end, there's only this little piece, that's where the chitta is or where the knowingness is, that is aware. Completely disappears, until the breath stops. Yeah? When the breath stops, you shouldn't get afraid. Let the breath stop. Yeah? And jump to that what knows that the breath stops. Yeah? And then you enter one-pointedness. And one-pointedness, you cannot say anything about it. When subject and object merge into one point, what can you say? There's no more subject, there's no more object. It's merged into one. Yeah? And that is normally called Appana Samadhi, or the deep state of Samadhi. Yeah? Or, like my master said, it's a preview of Nibbana. It's a Nibbana of the little man. That's where we can see, what Nibbana, or the extinction, or the unconditioned is all about. When you stay there for a while, when you come out again, and you will come out again, the first thought, I guarantee for everyone, the first thought is, how do I get there? Yeah? First of all, you feel completely energized. Your mind is absolutely focused. Whatever it looks at, it just can pass through. Yeah? It's just like a laser beam. Not if you have only there for 1 minute. Yeah? At least 1 hour, or 2 hours, or 3 hours. Yeah? You're really energized. That is important. Yeah? This samadhi, this power, this energy is really important for us to do our work. Yeah? Because we have not yet done the investigation that leads to wisdom, panya. So we said sila, the 5 precepts, samadhi, the ability to concentrate on one point, and developing sati, and panya, the wisdom, developing wisdom. For that, we need a very sharp mind, and especially, very hopefully, an objective mind that is not swayed by good or bad, or nice or not so nice. That's why we need to develop this samadhi, because it's objective. I just was talking about the deep state of samadhi, but there's a stage before that is called upachara samadhi. When there is no more thoughts, when there is no more memories. Yeah? And that is the phase where most of the people can go. Appana samadhi or deep samadhi, you really need some very tough training to get. But upachara samadhi, people can reach it within 10 days or 15 days if they put effort and perseverance in it. And that is already enough to get the mind calm. And that is a state where we find happiness, contentedness, because there is no more thoughts. Yeah, I know. Why did it go down? It moved by itself. Yeah. Yeah, I know the rain. When I'm in my monastery, I don't have a microphone, so normally when the rain is heavy, I stop. Yeah? So you still understand, yeah? Can you understand it? It goes down. Just towards the mouth. Yeah, and then put it in front. Yeah? Shall I speak like this? Yeah? So, maybe you turn it up a little bit.
The volume is maximum.
So you can hear it now, yeah?
Nhỏ nhí. Good.
Okay, which part did you miss already? So, when the people normally train Samadhi, you know that they might end up in Upachara Samadhi, where thoughts and memories stop. And that actually is a place, you know, where we can breathe. I mean, when thoughts are stopping, all our worries are stopping. All our fears are stopping. All our loneliness is stopping. Because they are created by thoughts. The future is stopping. The past is stopping. Because they come through memory. So if both memories and thoughts are stopping, we feel absolutely content. And all what we need to do is sit down, you know, close our eyes and concentrate on the Buddha or on the breath until there is no more thought and until there is no more no more memory coming up. Sounds easy, yeah? But we can't let go of our thoughts, huh? We think they are so important. Yeah? That's why it seems so difficult, yeah? When we do our meditation. You have to be determined to let go of the thoughts, yeah? I mean, when you sit down, you know, you either take Buddha or you take the breath, yeah? And then say, whatever comes in, that is not the Buddha or is not the breath, are the kilesas. I will explain the kilesas, yeah, a little bit later on. Yeah? It's not that what doesn't belong into the mind. So, I mean, you just return back to the breath until there is no more thought, until there is no more memories. Yeah? And then you are happy, contented, and you will see there is no desire for anything. I mean, even if there is some pain, you know, I mean, there's no desire to get rid of the pain. Yeah? There's no desire to do what? There's no desire to get up. There's no desire not to lie down. You're not tired. And when you come out, yeah, I mean, you feel refreshed. And that is a sign that you've gone in. Yeah? It's not the nice feeling. People are always after nice feelings. Yeah? It's not the nice feeling that is a sign for Samadhi or Upachara Samadhi. Yeah? It's also called Access Samadhi. That's not the sign. The sign is when you go in, yeah, just like you go into this hall and you close the door behind you, yeah, you know you're in a safe house. Yeah? When you go out again, you know the cars are coming, the people are coming, the rain is hitting you. Yeah? But while you're here in this house, you know you feel safe. Yeah? And there's no desire to go out. Yeah? But sooner or later you will be driven out and then you will see the difference. Yeah? But when you come out, you know, you will always feel refreshed, energized, yeah? And objective. Yeah? And the longer you've been in there, I mean, the more power you have. Yeah? And this power we need, yeah? This energy we need to investigate. Investigating to what leads to wisdom. Yeah? What leads to wisdom is the investigation of 5 groups. I mean, the Lord Buddha called it 5 khandhas or 5 groups. Yeah? The 5 groups that we think are us. Well, the first group is very obvious, it's a body. Yeah? The next group is also pretty obvious, it's feeling. Yeah? The third group is also obvious, you know, it's thought. Yeah? Thought and association. Yeah? Memories and associations. It's the fourth group. And consciousness, yeah, I mean, we think we always have consciousness, but it's also a group that appears and disappears, but pretty fast. So, these 4 groups we are going to contemplate. We're going to investigate. Is it me? Is it mine? Does it belong to me? Can you make the body live forever? Yeah? Can you make the body healthy? Yeah? When you want to? Yeah? It's not your body. Yeah? I mean, the body has its own nature and it follows its own nature. And it doesn't belong to you. Huh? It dies even if you don't want it to die. I mean, if you go at home, go into your wardrobe, I mean, you have lots of shirts, and then it always falls down. This has a movement in itself, yeah? Yeah, I mean, the screw is already it's absolutely tight. Then you can change, I mean, if you have a red shirt, or if you have a black shirt or a white shirt, I mean, you can choose whatever you want to wear, yeah? Not with the body, you can't change it, yeah? I mean, of course, when we are old, we like to change it to a young one, but we can't. No? We can change our dress, so I mean, that belongs to us. The body is not us, it's not me, it's not mine. Yeah? That's a principle or the characteristic of anatta. Yeah? Doesn't belong to me, it's not mine, doesn't belong to me. I mean, with feelings you can see it much better. Yeah? I mean, if you have a bad feeling, if they were yours, you can just exchange them to a good feeling. Yeah? Can you? Would be nice, huh? The feelings come. I mean, they come, on their own accord, and they disappear on their own accord. And we can't even reproduce most of them, yeah? Even if we want to. Yeah? It would be nice, now I want to have a good feeling, just like I go to Starbucks, I want to have an Americano or a black coffee or a coffee latte. Yeah? I want to have a good feeling. No, it doesn't come. It doesn't work like that because they don't belong to us. Yeah? The feelings that we don't want come in. Yeah? We like to get rid of them. The feelings that we want don't come in. So how can we call them our feelings? Huh? It's my feeling. You heard my feeling. It's a very common phrase that we often say. It's not my feeling, yeah? I mean, our attachment to this feeling makes it mine. Yeah? And that's why we get hurt. The feeling itself cannot get hurt. The feeling is just a feeling, it's a process. Yeah? This is something that we really should understand. Yeah? It's not me, it's not mine, it doesn't belong to me. Whatever you cannot make appear like this, or disappear like that cannot be yours. Yeah? Look in your closet and you see you can change every shirt that you want, that you have in the closet. Yeah? You don't like your red shirt, you exchange it with a yellow shirt. Yeah? But you can't do that with feelings. So how can you call this me, mine, and I? Huh? And the same thing holds true for thoughts. I mean, how many thoughts are coming into this head that we really don't even invite it? Yeah? I mean, thoughts, crazy thoughts, yeah? Stupid thoughts, foolish thoughts. Yeah? We don't invite them, and sometimes the thoughts that we want to have, they don't come. So how can we call this my thought? Yeah? My idea? Yeah? I mean, it just happens to come, yeah, on its own accord, and it disappears on its own accord. And just because it is close to us, we call it I, mine. Yeah? I mean, the same thought, might have quite a few people in the same room. Yeah? It just hangs around like the air hangs around. I mean, you don't call the air that is around you I and mine. Huh? We know it's air, It's just like the thoughts hanging around, I mean, the first one who grabs it calls it I, mine, yeah? And then he gets furious or angry at somebody else who picks up the same thought. This is really great. But now it's not raining so much, yeah? And the same thing is with memories, yeah? I mean, how can we call these memories, yeah? I mean, most of the memories don't come that we want to have, yeah? Some of them come, yeah? But most of the memories that come during the day, I mean, we don't want them, we didn't invite them. Yeah? They still come. That is the principle of anatta. Anicca is the principle, that everything arises and disappears. Stays on for a little while and disappears. And dukkha is, I'm in the dissatisfaction of all these arising and disappearing things. If we understand, anicca, anatta, dukkha, this impermanence, that things don't last, and we know it. You eat today an ice cream, it tastes nice, you have to eat it tomorrow again. Because the taste doesn't last. The nice feeling that is created with the taste doesn't last. We have to do it over and over and over again. When do we get bored? That's a question you should ask yourself. When do you get bored, with running around in the hamster wheel? So these are I mentioned 4 groups, These are the 4 groups that we have to investigate. And the first group that we investigate is this body. We all like our body, Even if it's old. Even if it's sick. Even if it gets sick. But we don't like the things that come off from our body. When you wash your hairs, you use some soap, wash your hairs, and then you have to clean the shower and take the hair from the drainage, you feel disgusted. Why? The same thing, you polish your nails, then you cut them, and they are on the dinner table, and you feel disgusted. They were just here, and you loved them. Or you just combed your hair, before you washed it, and you liked it. But now it falls into the food, and you find it disgusting. So there's something wrong with our understanding a little bit, as long as it is on the body, it is beautiful. The moment it comes off, when the skin comes off, you find it disgusting. When the sweat comes out, you find it disgusting. When the food goes in, you like it. When the food comes out, you find it disgusting. So everything that goes into the body is nice. Everything that comes out of the body, is disgusting. Isn't there something wrong with our understanding of the beauty of the body? It turns everything that is nice and beautiful in something that is disgusting, if you want to build a factory like that, nobody would buy the products. Most of the time in a factory, you put something disgusting in and something nice comes out, Then, it would be worthwhile. It's nothing like a chemical factory, our body, it turns everything into energy. The food into energy. So that we can move the body. That's why we probably have it in the first place, to create something. And that's why we have to investigate it. Why keep something, that we actually, don't even imagine, to open it up, if you ask some medical students, when they first open the corpse, what happens to them? They either throw up, or fall unconscious. Nobody has to teach them. Even the second semester and third semester warn them, be careful, when you open that corpse, to throw up. Oh no, I'm not throwing up. Why? We just see the inside of the body and we get disgusted, we throw up, fall unconscious. So it is only the skin, that makes this body beautiful. But the skin ages, and then it doesn't become so beautiful anymore. The importance of the body investigation. We have 3 things. We have greed, hatred, and delusion. Greed and hatred is born in the body, is rooted in the body, and that's why we have to investigate it. To get rid of greed and hate. To get rid of good and evil. Because that is all within the realm of the body. once you investigate the body, see first, the first thing is, as I said, you see it's not so. It's just a car that you rented, or that you bought, and then you drive it until it is dead. It's not you. You're the driver, and that is something that you have to become really clear of. Take care of the body, but don't overly take care. You don't need to polish your car in order to work. I'm from Germany, and I'm quite an old generation, and every Saturday afternoon, everybody in the street was polishing his car, that's not useful, the car doesn't run better because it's polished, But we did it, or my father did it, And all the fathers around, all these family houses, probably in America it's the same thing. It was the same. It used to be the same thing. So the body is just the same. Just the same thing. Take care of it. Put some oil in it. Put some water. Check the brakes. And the gears. That's it. The outside. Don't worry too much about it. Once in a while, wash it. But the greed, we want. When we want something for the body. We always like something for the body. Be it comfort for the body, air conditioning, or a car, or a cycle, or whatever. It's always in connection with the body. That's why greed, and hate. Greed and hate are coming in tandem. It's coming very early today. The talk is nearly over, people, please do have a little bit respect for the Dhamma. If the talk is set at 7:30, you should come at 7:30. If you are 2 or 3 minutes late, that, I don't mind. But people are always coming in, coming out when they want. That is completely respectless towards the Dhamma. It's not respectless towards me, I don't care. But the Dhamma is the highest teaching that we can find in the world. And it is something that we have to utterly respect. If you can't respect the Dhamma, we will never find the way out. And you're always stuck in your hamster wheel. If you like it in the hamster wheel, it's fine. But then you don't need to come here anyway. Before, I mentioned, what is the path to heaven? And the path to heaven is having generosity. Very much generosity. It is respect. It's respect towards our parents. It's respect towards our teachers. It's respect towards the Dhamma. If we don't have it, we never will end up in heaven. If we don't have enough generosity, we won't end up in heaven. And if we don't have gratitude, we won't end up in heaven. Because these are the prerequisites. And they are also the prerequisites if we want to get out. If we want to find the way out. Without generosity, you will not. Think about material generosity. It is easy to give material things away. How more difficult is it to give your own ideas, your own thoughts, your own views? Because that's in the end you have to do. You have to give up your ideas and thoughts, how things are. Because if you don't give up your ideas and thoughts, how things are, you will never be able to see the truth. So just as a side remark, generosity, gratitude, respect. Respect for our parents, respect for the teachers, respect for the Dhamma. It is really essential for the path out and for the path to heaven. So investigating the body, gives us the opportunity. First, as the first exercise, we see the body is not self. So we put it up in front of us, bits and pieces, the leg, the foot, whatever is, the torso, and look at it, Which part of the body is the body, Is the hand the body? Is the feet the body? Is the brain the body? Is the heart the body? Yeah? What would we call body? Yeah? I mean, it's just like a car, you put it in bits and pieces, yeah? I mean, all what you see, nuts and bolts, and some metal, and some plastic. Well, where's the car? There's no car. Maybe for tomorrow you get a better or you
Tomorrow will give you a better.
But still people understand, huh? So greed and hatred are rooted within the body, yeah? I mean, the first exercise is putting the body out, in front of you and looking, yeah? I mean, who's sitting there and observing the body? That is the driver, or it's called the chitta. The next thing is to understand the nature of the body. And with the investigation of the body into its inner parts, where the disgust comes up, yeah? That's where we can learn how to deal with anger. That's where we can learn how to deal with greed, to overcome greed and anger. Because that's a source, where we can poke the greed, or where we can poke the anger. We see something, it's disgusting, and anger comes up. Yeah? So we can learn how to deal with anger in a very wholesome way. Yeah? Most of the time we cannot learn to deal with anger because it just flushes out. Yeah? And it flushes out to a person, that brings it back to us. Yeah? And we don't like it. Yeah? Or even we find it, we find we can't hold it in. Yeah? I mean, learning how to deal with greed and anger is, part of the body investigation. So there are three parts, to see it's not me, not mine, not myself. The other thing is, to understand the true nature of the body, that it's just elements, yeah? 4 elements. And the third thing is, to get rid of greed and hate. Once we get rid of greed and hate, I mean, we don't come back anymore. Once we understand, yeah, I mean that the body is not us, it is one of the fetters that we need to cut to enter the street. Yeah? The other fetter is the fetter of doubt. Yeah? Doubt that there's heaven, that there's hell, doubt that there's Kamma, yeah? Doubt that there are beings in heaven, doubt that there is being in hell. Most of the people, already, can't cut that fetter down. Yeah? Because they don't believe in heaven, they don't believe that there are beings in heaven. Yeah? Just because they can't see it. I mean, when you just look at the literature 3 or 4 or 500 years ago, I mean, they all talked about angels, yeah? Huh? They talked about devas, these fairies, in the forest, that they're living in the forest. They still live in the forest, yeah? We just don't care to see them, yeah? Because we all live in the cities. And now, of course, there are beings in hell, and there are beings in the ghost realm. And if you care to see them, you will see them. And karma, right? That whatever you do, will have karmic effect. Yeah? If you do something good, it will have a good effect. If you do something bad, it will have a bad effect. So, before all the people fall asleep, yeah? If you have, then let's change it. If you have some questions, yeah? Let's finish with it for today. If you have some questions, now you can ask them. No questions, huh?
Any questions from us, Ajahn? Or are you all fully enlightened by stop? No questions?
That's strange. Either they didn't understand what I was talking about. No? Okay.
Yeah, but one.
You always have questions.
Break the ice.
Break the ice.
Can Ajahn elaborate a little on Upachara Samadhi?
Upachara Samadhi. What do you want more to elaborate? Yeah, I mean, one's thought and once memories are gone, then you're in Upachara Samadhi.
The body still exists.
Yeah, I mean, I said the body still exists. It ceases to exist the deeper we go into Upachara Samadhi. And just before diving into Appana Samadhi, it completely ceases to exist. And not only the body ceases to exist, but the whole universe ceases to exist. Yeah? Because subject and object merge into one point. Yeah? So, what can you say about this one point? Nothing. Because there's no more subject who observes that one point, because otherwise it would be two. So the conventional reality ceases to exist in the merging of subject and object. That's why it's also called one-pointedness. But Upachara Samadhi, there's still experience, but there's just experience and nobody takes hold of this experience. That's why it's so wonderful. Nobody says, this experience is nice. Nobody says this experience is bad. Nobody says anything. There's no commentary. The kilesas are shut off. The kilesas, I didn't explain it. The kilesas are the fangs of avijja. Avijja is the power that keeps us under control. Avijja is our, what you can call it, dictator, or whatever you want to call it. Usurper, he keeps us in this realm. He keeps us in prison. And he has three armies. The armies of greed, hatred, and delusion. Greed and hatred, as I explained before, are within the realm of the body, and delusion is within the realm of thoughts and memories. But before we come to delusion, we have to get rid of greed and hatred. We cannot investigate thoughts and memories as long as there is greed and hate. These armies of greed and hate are in the forefront. And delusion, pulls the strings of greed and hate. So whenever we try to get forward, some anger comes up or some greed comes up before we even can see delusion. And the armies consist of soldiers, and these soldiers are called kilesas. Kile, when you look at the Thai word kile, it means desires. Desires can be positive, wanting something, or not desires. Okay. It's raining, people want to go back home, to sleep, No more questions. Okay. When you go home, think about what you want to do with your life. That is the most important question that you should ask. You want to keep in samsara, you want to keep into the sensitive, or you want to find a way out, or at least, if you want to make that hamster wheel have some nice curtains and paint it nice, keep the 5 precepts and do what you want to get. That's hopefully the most important thing. It is your life, you're responsible for your life, and just do what you want, just give what you want to get. There's nothing free, as I said in the beginning. Whatever we don't do, we don't get. Whatever we did, be it good or be it bad, we get back. Okay? So.
Thank you, Ajahn. Brothers and sisters in Dhamma, tomorrow we will have another Dhamma talk by Ajahn Martin Piyadhammo, same time, 7:30. Okay, so see you all tomorrow.